Hi guys, Andrew here with Headphones.com, and this is the brand new Dunu SA6 Ultra. And you can tell because it says Ultra on the box. Now, the Dunu SA6, the original, which is right over here, I'll just take it out of the box here, or the case, so you guys can see it. I do actually have it. The glory, behold, the SA6, the original. And it was my favorite IEM, still is, before hearing this, at around the $500 price mark. It has this very natural, relaxed kind of warm tonality that just, it fits me really well. And I've kind of called it a budget 64 audio U12T, which is also one of my other favorites at the high end. So when I heard that Dunu were coming out with a follow-up to the SA6 in collaboration with Z Reviews, you can see here at the top, which is, that's just what sort of what a lot of reviewers are doing these days, is these kinds of collabs. I've been both excited and also a little bit worried. I don't want anything bad to happen to my baby. And as you guys can see, I have not even yet taken it out of the plastic wrapping here, so I have no idea how this sounds. In this video, my first impressions, what this sounds like to me, I'm going to give it a measure, and then at the end, I'm going to tell you whether or not it's any good. So without further ado, let's get started. Oh, and just a quick disclaimer here, this unit was provided by Hi-Fi Go. Big thanks to Hi-Fi Go for sending it along for review. I'll leave a link to that in the description for you guys if you want to check this out. All right. This is, like the super sexy, peeling the plastic off. We're doing the exact opposite of that. We're just ripping it off. Let's find out. Classy Dunu logo. And you get the case, which is basically the same as the previous one. Awesome. I think these cases are good. And in classic Dunu fashion, you get different tips here, different terminations, I should say, that hook into the end of the cable right here, which is super convenient because a lot of folks are running DAPs or digital audio players. And I am going to be getting into DAPs soon, I think, as well. So you can see here you have red and blue shells. It's not like a strong contrasty kind of red and blue. This is a more subtle kind of coloring, and I really quite like it. The SA6 has this sort of green and orange kind of look to it, and the SA6 Ultra is, yeah, again, that sort of blue and reddish colorway. Not the fanciest for the shell that I've ever seen, but also I think tasteful. With the tips that I'm going to be using these with, it's actually not going to be these ones. I've used these tips in the past, and I am not a fan of them. And it's just something that I'm familiar with as far as some of the more recent Dunus are concerned. And just so you guys are aware, like the tips, they do matter, but they don't matter that much. A lot of it is also insertion depth. And I think as long as you get a seal, you're getting at least somewhat of a representative result. The cable, it feels robust, but not too heavy. There are some cables out there I saw that are just enormous. It doesn't matter, guys. Let me just actually take a look at the shell and make sure and just see if the shell is actually the same. It looks pretty similar, like as far as the size and everything. It's pretty good because I found the original to be quite comfortable. So let's find out how this one is. Oh yeah, that's very comfortable for me. Like a glove. Just for reference, guys, I'm running this right now off of the Bioelectric HPA V550, which is a full-sized, versatile desktop headphone amplifier and not something you'd necessarily need. Well, you definitely don't need it to run these. These are, much easier to drive, and you can run it off of basically anything you want. So let's give it a listen. I'm listening to one of my favorite jazz tracks from Ting Val Trio. It's a track called Beat. Really nice piano track, piano jazz. So it keeps that kind of like smooth, laid-back sound signature. Maybe not quite as warm though. One thing you guys got to remember with the SA6 and this one as well is that there's a little toggle on the back for the bass lift, or at least it was on the original. We'll find out what it does exactly on this one in a second. But on this jazz track, it sounds excellent, like really nice and well balanced. All right, so the next track I'm going to listen to is one with vocals called "We've Just Begun" by Sine Eeg. I don't know how to say the name. It's a more upbeat kind of vocal track. The percussion sounds like when there's a cymbal hit, you can really hear that kind of sizzling quality, that sizzling character coming through. It's funny because one of the things that I think maybe was a criticism of the original is that it lacked a little bit of that upper air, and this definitely doesn't lack that, at least not to my ear from these tracks. All right, something a little bit more, modern. Let's listen to some pop music. I'm gonna listen to "Under Pressure" from Leslie Odom Jr. The tuning is definitely on point with this. You know, one of the criticisms that I have with common good IEMs, well-tuned IEMs, is that oftentimes the amount of like ear gain that they have, like the overall level at around 3K, which is in the upper mid range, it tends to be a bit much for me on most well-tuned IEMs, just because of the way that my ear canal is. And with the SA6, what I love about it is it's a bit more relaxed in that region. And the Ultra here, I think it retains that, which is great. So we'll see now what the bass toggle does. And it's just this little switch on the back. All right. Now it's set to on. Same track. This is where it's at. This gives it that bass punch. Or level, at least. You know, the things that I love about the original, many of them are still here with this. Okay, let me actually just first listen to this again and double check. You know, auditory memory is not great. Yeah, I mean, these are both fantastic. These, this is well played, Zeos. Smart move, because this was already great. What can I say? I like both of them. Thank you for more air. At the moment, though, I'm going to do some measurements. I'm going to show you guys the measurements and we can talk about it. Okay, so basically what we're looking at here from the measurements is a nearly identical result between the Dunu SA6 Ultra and the original Dunu SA6, with the exception of a little bit more upper treble air, and I think that is based on some feedback. I think that's what people wanted with the SA6. It looks like there is either a little bit of damping or some sort of change here at around 4.5K. Overall, the rest of the character here is basically the same. It retains that warm, smooth kind of thing. And let me just show you what it looks like with the bass lift. So with the bass boost toggle, which I think is a fantastic addition to both the original and the Ultra, you get a lift from essentially like 300 hertz, maybe like maybe just a little bit above that, all the way down, you know, into the sub bass that gets just, you know, gradually a little bit more as you go. So it's not a massive difference, but I think it's enough because it lifts the entire range. So what I'm showing you guys here is the SA6 Ultra against the Audio Oracle, the original, which I consider to be a sort of neutral reference point there, at least for me, and the way that my ear canal works. The key thing I want to focus on, I mean, yes, the Oracle does have a bass boost, or we could call it neutral with a bass boost or whatever we want to call it there for the bass, but the key difference, in my view here, is that there's more mid-range presence on the SA6 Ultra, but less upper mids. And this is sort of what I was talking about with that more kind of laid-back character to the upper mids. It really is the anti-shout style of tuning that the SA6 goes for, and also now the SA6 Ultra, which I think is great. And also the other key thing here is that if you're listening to music genres that are a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more upbeat, a little more intense, the SA6 and SA6 Ultra are going to be a little bit more forgiving for those genres. So what does that mean for the SA6 Ultra? It's just more of a good thing here. I think there will still be people who prefer the slightly more laid back tuning of the original SA6, but you know, for the folks who you know, like that idea and just wanted a bit more air, I think the SA6 Ultra gives you exactly that, because as you guys could see, the rest of the tuning was basically the same. But I also think it's good that they took this feedback and, you know, implemented you know, a slight tweak to the upper treble frequencies there that give it a little bit more, you know, zing up there for the air frequencies. So yeah, I think this is a solid performer, and I'm actually not sure at all what the price of this is. I hope it's reasonably close to the original, because if it is, then I think this is a solid choice, and it is going to get my recommendation for sure. All right, so that's basically going to do it for this comparison between these two and first impressions of the SA6 Ultra from Dunu. And if you guys are looking for the measurements that I've just taken here and the comparisons with the original, as well as some other IEMs, there's a link to that in the description, and that'll be a link to the Headphone community forum, and where you guys can also disagree with me on my terrible takes. All right, that's going to do it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.